Chapter 801, Hypnosis? Ho ho ho. He bowed his head and panted, his forehead covered in cold sweat, his hair soaked. Damn it. So Fong tried to stay calm but still cursed aloud. Ho ho ho. After more than 10 minutes, his sweat dried, and he calmed down, leaving only exhaustion. He began sorting the vast knowledge he had just received, a huge amount that would take time to organize. Hypnosis technique. So Fong muttered, flipping to the new knowledge. After more than half an hour, he opened his eyes, quickly added some wood to the furnace, and made the flames burn bright again. Through special methods and tools, one can briefly hypnotize people or animals, including suggestion and visual fatigue. So Fong murmured, more astonished as he read further. For example, hypnotizing a chicken was simple: just cover its eyes with black cloth, stroke its neck and chest with special technique, and it would calm down and be hypnotized. But in fact, it was only falling asleep, the simplest form of hypnosis. In reality, there were many methods, which could be divided into authoritative, standard, and interactive hypnosis. By subjects, it could be individual, group, or self-hypnosis. By form, it could be verbal or non-verbal, direct or indirect, and non-verbal could include music, massage, or drugs. Nowadays, hypnosis was widely used in psychotherapy, medicine, crime solving, detention, and sports. In therapy, it had been used to treat alcoholism, sleepwalking, suicidal tendencies, self-harm, smoking, gambling, and more. The system's gift was puzzling. Did it want him to hypnotize people or animals? So Fong yawned again. Whatever, I will deal with it later. Suddenly his eyes lit up with an idea. Can I hypnotize myself to not feel tired? He turned to the section on self-hypnosis. He found that the method existed, but unless he wanted to throw himself into the fire, he had better not try, because it was true hypnosis to fall asleep faster. I can only rely on willpower. So Fong smiled bitterly, putting another dried olive into his mouth. Time passed slowly, the fire kept burning. The horizon brightened, dawn was near. He yawned, glanced at the fire. It should be fine, time to sleep a bit. He stretched, lay on the bench, closed his eyes, and fell asleep. Nearly an hour later, the sky was fully bright. It was about 7 in the morning. Inside the cabin, everyone was still asleep, usually waking around 8. Van Han yawned, reached to the side but felt only cold emptiness. She sat up, turned her head, realizing So Fong was not there. She went to the window, opened it slightly, and looked down, seeing him sleeping on the bench. Really, why not sleep inside? She whispered, then went downstairs. She sat near So Fong, quietly watching his face. Stayed up all night? Van Han murmured, feeling a pang of pity. Then she returned, washed, and began preparing breakfast, since today they planned to go to the beach. After half an hour, the Nan sisters woke up first, followed by Lu Waimong and No Tin Noyet. So comfortable. Lu Waimong stretched lazily. Where is So Fong? Nan Nu Nok asked softly. Van Han put her finger to her lips. Sure, he is asleep on the bench, let him rest. She went out, saw him near the pool. Nan Ton Nok tiptoed to the stream, brushing teeth quietly. 5 or 6 minutes later, she went back upstairs. Still asleep? Lu Waimong asked. Yes, sleeping well. Nan Nu Nok replied. Lu Waimong muttered. Wasn't he going to set traps, still sleeping? You try staying awake all night. Nan Nu Thursday scolded her sister. I am awake. No Tin Noyet leaned out the window, waving. So Fong, good morning. Good morning. He raised his head and answered. He stretched. After 2 hours of sleep his spirit was much better. If not for his biological clock, he would have slept until tomorrow. He had set it to wake up early to set traps before heading to the beach. So Fong, you can sleep more, it is still early. Van Han called from the window. No, I need to set traps first. So Fong waved gently. He went to the stream, splashed his face with water. How will you do it? Let me help. Lu Waimong ran down excitedly. I will help too. Nan Nu Nok said softly. Tevaidan opened his mouth but swallowed his morning practice words. All right, I will go. Nan Nu Nok turned upstairs. Chapter 802, The Trap is Complete. So Fong, where do you want to set the trap? Nan Ta Nok asked curiously. She knew a bit about traps, but only for catching wild rabbits, pheasants, and small animals. Of course, all the paths must have traps. So Fong replied casually, pointing at the front gate fence, the stairway, the wooden house entrance, the back door, and the rabbit cage. So many, can you handle them? Lu Waimong asked with concern. Rest assured, it will be done in about 1 hour. So Fong said confidently. Very simple, first dig a hole. So Fong pointed to the fence. He wanted to make a rope trap, similar to a crocodile snare. Digging holes is your specialty. Lu Waimong said awkwardly. So I will do it. You take 5 ropes and turn them into a rope set. So Fong picked up the shovel and went to the fence. All right, leave it to me. Lu Waimong replied firmly. By the way, I want the rope set to be continuous, do you know how? So Fong stopped and turned back. Lu Waimong raised her hand in an OK sign, saying confidently, rest assured, I can do it. Go. So Fong shrugged, holding the shovel, began digging a hole over 1 meter deep. Then what should we do? NK Books. Nan Nu Nok asked idly. Help with the rope, I think So Fong will need many. Lu Waimong guessed. Lu Wai Thursday could not help but ask, are you weaving a pig pen? Of course not, So Fong wants this kind, you will see soon. Lu Waimong busily strung ropes, leaving gaps for knots to tighten. On the other side, So Fong quickly dug the hole, dropped the shovel, and went to the warehouse, pulling out a 4-meter log as thick as a thigh. He tied ropes, stood it upright in the hole, covered with soil, and stomped firmly. Waimong, is the rope done? So Fong asked. Yes, is it big enough? Lu Waimong brought a bundle of ropes. So Fong examined it and praised, very good, better than I thought. So, do you want to try making a trap yourself? So Fong asked with a smile. No, I guess your trap is like a crocodile snare, I do not want to be hung in the air. Lu Waimong quickly shook her head. So Fong looked at her, praised, smart. Yes, I am a genius. Lu Waimong boasted. So Fong laughed, gave her the rope, and instructed, later I will bend the log, you fix it. All right, leave it to me. She said firmly. So Fong nodded, held the rope tied to the log, and slowly pulled it down. Fixed the rope above. So Fong said firmly, pulling the log was tiring. Okay. Lu Waimong quickly tied the rope to the log. So Fong, let me help. Nan Nu Nok rushed forward. I will help too. No Tin Noi yet joined. Then Nan Ta Nok, Tevaidan and others came to help press down the log. Be careful. So Fong reminded, feeling the force lesson. He signaled, Waimong, tie the rope to the post. Just this one? Lu Waimong asked. Yes. So Fong nodded. She tied the rope tightly to the post. Everyone release and step back. So Fong ordered. All right. Nan Ta Nok pulled her sister away. After everyone stepped back, So Fong slowly released his hands, watching the rope tied to the post. When he let go completely, the rope tightened, shaking the fence, but it held firm. Phew. So Fong breathed out. Is that it? Lu Waimong asked surprised. Of course not, there are details left. So Fong shook his head, then sat at the gate, cleared leaves, and dug a hole 30 centimeters deep and half a meter wide. The work is complete. So Fong clapped his hands. Everyone else looked doubtful. Try and you will know. So Fong smiled, looking at them. Are you using us as experiments? Lu Waimong asked nervously. What do you think? So Fong smirked. Haha, no, a log is enough. He laughed, his eyes showing mischief then calming. Phew. They all exhaled. The trap was not simple, the log required much force. So Fong brought a log chest high, heavier than his thigh, weighing about 100 caddies, left over from the oil press. Everyone step back, it may hurt you. He warned. All right. They quickly retreated. Chapter 803, Do you want to skip rope? Bang! He loosened his grip, the wooden stick fell into the pit, pulling the noose tight. Whoosh! The rope tied by Lu Yimeng was clever, woven from many strands, wrapping from ankle to arm. Once caught it bound tightly with no escape. Damn! Wu Tingyue covered her mouth, startled as she watched the figure hanging, thinking if she had stepped wrong it would be her. The others were stunned, their eyes flashing with excitement, waiting to see what would happen if the Zhao brothers stepped in. Well. So Fong crossed his arms and looked at them. So Fong, I have a doubt. Nantan Nok raised her hand. What doubt? He signaled her to continue. Simple, set another trap nearby, if he tries to save then he will be caught too. So Fong replied confidently. Chain trap? Nantan Nok pondered. He clapped, yes, a chain trap. Then what are we waiting for, let's begin. Lu Yiming rolled up her sleeves and went to prepare ropes. I will tie ropes too. Nan Ruyue hurried after. The women eagerly helped. Time passed, except for breakfast they were busy with traps. From the main gate to the rabbit cage, then the stairs and back door, traps were laid and covered with leaves, making it look normal. If not already living here, suddenly rushing in, they would never notice these traps. Nantan Nok sighed, admiring So Fong's skill and feeling lucky not to be his enemy. It is not easy. Lu Yiming stretched her sore hands. Be careful when leaving, even if tomorrow the traps are not sprung, I will not remove them, they will be useful later. So Fong warned. What about the little deer, should we lock it? Yun Han asked softly. Yes, put it in the birdcage, the space is big enough. He nodded. All right, I will lead it in. Yun Han guided the fawn inside, tied it, and threw in some hay for food. Pack up, tomorrow we will know. So Fong said calmly. Okay. They answered together, carefully going upstairs around the traps. So Fong, should we put the salted meat and oil in the cellar, just in case? One girl suggested. Good idea, move it down, I will store it. His eyes brightened, pinching her cheek. Even if the traps fail, they cannot steal our meat. Lu Yimeng praised. So smart. Wu Tingyue smiled. He carried a sack of salted meat into the yard, lifted weeds covering the cellar. Creak. Careful. Lu Yimeng strained to pass the sack down. He stored the meat against the wall, next to taro and flour, all preserved well. So Fong, here is the oil. Lu Yiming handed down the jar. NK Careful. Books. He climbed up, steadied the jar, and stored it. She sighed, if we find the Zhao brothers, it would save trouble. If I could, I would have sent them off the island already. He said calmly, recalling their first meeting. With more than 100 days left, I do not believe they can hide forever. She snorted, handing him more powder. Okay. They responded, carrying baskets, bows, and tools. Mingming, guard the house, we will bring you fish. He called. Screech, screech. Mingming flew from the woods, circling above to show it understood. Hope it does not get lazy. Lu Yiming wrinkled her nose, shaking her fist, this time leaving enough meat for 2 days. It won't. He laughed, if it does, we will roast Sea Eagle. Screech, screech. Ming tilted its head, as if protesting. It puffed its feathers, deciding not to leave the roof for 2 days. Be careful when leaving, do not step on traps. He opened the gate, teasing, unless you want to try skipping rope. I do not. Yunhan shook her head, innocent. If I skip rope, make me a safer one. Yes, I will make it later. He patted her head, then carefully stepped out. The girls followed closely, hand in hand. Chapter 804, The Strongest Woman Inside. If you step here carelessly, it is like stepping into a rope. Lu Yiming smiled faintly and avoided the obstacle at the main gate. The land looked ordinary, but if stepped on, the result would be the same as that broken tree. Indeed. Louisu pursed her lips, leaving the gate but still turned back to look. Creak. Let's go. He held the girl's hand, turned and walked toward the beach. All right. The women answered with excitement and followed behind. Yunhan tilted her head and asked softly, Sofeng, are we going to the coconut forest? This time we head to the bamboo beach. Sofeng shook his head and said gently, there are more seaweeds there. Okay. Yunhan replied softly. They walked under the blazing sun, following the stream down to the lower area. Sofeng, shall we go straight along the stream to see what is at the end? Lu Yiming suddenly asked, curious about its end. Yunhan pulled his hand and asked gently, shall we go and see? Yes. Yunhan nodded obediently. Yunhan's cheeks reddened, she giggled, maybe we will find something new. Yes, let's hope so. Sofeng smiled. It would be best if we find the Zhao brothers downstream, then beat them up. Today will be perfect. Lu Yiming raised her little fist innocently. If we meet them it is good, if not we will settle later, no need to think too much. Wu Tingyue smiled softly. That is true. Lu Yiming nodded. Let's move faster, we are exploring a new area, we must leave enough time. Sofen urged. All right. They answered together and sped up. Time passed, more than 3 hours later they arrived near the old campsite. So nostalgic. Yunhan whispered and followed Sofeng further down. Nothing new here. Lu Yiming pouted, only trees everywhere, not even edible fruits. Let's go further down. Sofeng said softly. Ah, that looks like big yams, right? Wu Tingyue's eyes lit up, pointing at vines near the stream, looks just like before. Yes, real big yams. Lu Yiming's eyes sparkled. Since we found them, let's stop to dig first. Sofeng put down the basket, took out the spade and hatchet. I will look around. Lu Yiming said, taking her bow. Vai Ding, you go with her. Sofeng instructed. Lu Yiming pouted, so I need a bodyguard? Or else you get lost, no need to go to the beach anymore. Sofeng teased. Am I that unreliable? Lu Yiming stepped back angrily. Yes. The women answered immediately. Lu Yiming was so angry she laughed. Luizhu sighed, be careful, walk properly. Got it. Lu Yiming waved carelessly, pulled Vai Ding's hand and smiled, let's go, ignore them. Be safe. Wu Tingyue also reminded. Vai Ding waved her hand without turning, showing she would watch over Yimeng. Hope Vai Ding is not dragged into trouble. Sofeng smiled bitterly. Luizhu pursed her lips, not knowing what to say. Sofeng sighed, cut the yam vines, and dug the soil. Meanwhile, Lu Yimeng and Vai Ding walked in the forest, hitting bushes to drive away snakes. So boring, something interesting please. Lu Yimeng waved the branch, seeing only trees and leaves. Be careful. Vai Ding reminded softly. Vai Ding, you went to Xianyu Island to learn martial arts this year, did you not compete? Lu Yimeng asked. I refused. Vai Ding said calmly. Not important? Lu Yimeng asked in surprise. For me, Vi Ding is the strongest. She held her hand sincerely. Vi Ding raised her brow, tilted her head and asked, then what about So Feng? Among women you are the strongest. Lu Yimeng laughed. Compared to So Feng, few could match him. Vi Ding pursed her lips. She wanted to surpass So Feng, but in short term saw no hope. She knew well how strong he was. Being the strongest woman is not bad. She replied softly. In truth she was only the strongest among the young. Compared to older masters she was still inferior. Let's check that side, maybe new things. Lu Yimeng pulled her hand, pointing to the forest. Vi Ding looked toward the stream and nodded. More than 10 minutes. Later, trees grew denser, the place quiet, even bird songs rare. Why does it feel gloomy here? Lu Yimeng shrank, leaning on Vi Ding, eyes wary. Vi Ding glanced at her, realizing her timid nature. Vi Ding, we have been out long, should we return? Lu Yimeng swallowed and whispered. Afraid? Vi Ding asked. Afraid? Not at all. Lu Yimeng stood straight, face serious, but trembling brows betrayed her. Chapter 805, Sea Anemone. Lu Yimeng secretly sighed in relief and softly asked, do you still remember the way back? Do you not remember? Tai Vi Din asked back. Well, not really. Lu Yimeng replied shyly. Tai Vi Din pressed his lips, already used to her unreliability, and whispered, I remember. A rustling sound came. Tai Vi Din frowned, readying a defensive stance, while Lu Yimeng raised her bow with an arrow ready to shoot. Time passed. After 4 or 5 minutes nothing happened, the place stayed quiet. Could it be just mice? Lu Yimeng wondered, putting away her bow, as keeping it drawn was tiring. Let us go, do not waste time. Tai Vi Din calmed down, thinking it was just a small animal. Lu Yimeng exhaled, quickly followed him and muttered, I scared myself. After more than 10 minutes, they returned to the stream, where Van Han and the Nan sisters were washing big sweet potatoes. You are back, did you find anything? Nan Nu Nok asked happily. Sigh. Lu Yimeng helplessly said, nothing, only trees. Then let us go to the beach, if not it will soon be dark. Van Han said, glancing at the sky. There were about 2 hours left. Yes, better go to the beach. Lu Yimeng agreed, at least it was open and safe from beasts jumping out of bushes. After more than 10 minutes. Let us go to the beach. So Fong carried a bamboo basket filled with washed sweet potatoes. All right. The women replied together. They walked east. After more than half an hour the view opened, the salty sea breeze blew away the heat. Finally the beach, but it seems we have never come here. Lu Yimeng said with awe. She looked around, the land was low, the small stream flowed into the sea. In front was a wide bay, with large sand and reefs, no longer high cliffs. So big, bigger than all the beaches before combined. Van Han exclaimed, her eyes shining as she saw the long coastline. Be careful of your steps. So Fong warned, fearing sharp things in the sand. Shall we cross the beach? Van Han asked. Here is seaweed, a very big piece. Nan Nu Nok shouted, putting the clean seaweed in the basket. Ah, here is a jellyfish, Van Han deal with it. No Tin Noyet said after spotting it. Be careful. So Fong warned gently. No problem, I wear shoes. Van Han smiled, raising her waterproof boots. Still, be careful, do you not fear falling and ruining your face? So Fong teased. All right, I know. Van Han laughed and mumbled, you are becoming like an old nagging elder. So Fong smiled bitterly, put down the basket, walked along the beach checking for danger. Ah, a big crab. Lu Yimeng shouted. So Fong turned, she had caught a large green crab. So many oysters here, maybe no one has ever come. Nan Ton Nok said after seeing them on the rocks, along with many devil snails. Seems no one has come, resources are too rich. Lu Wai Thursday whispered, seeing also seaweed and rolls attached to rocks. If we landed here first, it would be better. Lu Wai Mong said. If so, you may not meet So Fong. No Tin Noi yet teased. Well, bamboo forest is not bad, with bamboo rats to eat. Lu Wai Mong corrected. Lu Wai Thursday sighed, bamboo rats were few, most taken by others, but thanks to that, they later met So Fong. What is that? Looks like a sea creature. Van Han said, after finishing with the jellyfish, finding a soft being among rocks. Lu Wai Mong came, shivered, it looks slimy, disgusting. Not good looking, but feels familiar, I do not know where I saw it. No Tin Noi yet said. Shall we dig it out? Nan Nu Nok suggested. What are you doing? So Fong returned, asked curiously, something new? Just in time, we found a strange thing, do you know it? Van Han said. Strange thing? Let me see. So Fong sat down, looked closely. At first sight, he laughed, have you not watched Animal World? Well, very little, just looked familiar, but what is it? Is it poisonous, edible? Yes. What is it? No Tin Noi yet also asked. It is a sea anemone, a carnivore, of the Cnidarians. So Fong explained while pouring seawater. Chapter 806, Clams. It is genuine, truly a meat-eating animal. So Fong nodded. I cannot tell at all, it looks like rubber strands growing out. Lu Wai Mong remarked. Lu Wai Thursday nodded in agreement, indeed, it looks more like a plant. Although it looks like a plant, in fact it is an animal. So Fong explained, but it is a very simple animal, with no central information processing organ. No central processing organ? Van Han was stunned, then quickly asked, you mean sea anemones have no brain? No brain, that sounds quite useless. Lu Wai Mong muttered, since her sister often said such things. So Fong laughed, guessing her thoughts. So can it be eaten? Lu Wai Mong asked eagerly. No, its tentacles contain mild venom, even boiling cannot make it safe. So Fong shook his head. The venom is not highly harmful, but touching the tentacles can cause pain or itching. Eating boiled sea anemones may cause vomiting, fever, or stomach pain. So it cannot be eaten or touched? Lu Wai Mong stepped back, nearly reaching out. Though it is mild, to be safe we should avoid it, we still have better choices. So Fong pointed toward the rocks. Aren't clams and finger shells tasty? True, sea anemones look ugly, surely taste bad. Van Han agreed. All right, let us gather dry grass and wood. So Fong clapped. I will handle the wood. Nan Tan Nok raised her hand, taking the heavy job. Come along, boiling salt needs much wood. Lu Wai Thursday pulled her sister. Then you go, be careful. So Fong nodded. Lu Wai Mong swallowed her desire to swim, waiting for tomorrow. The sisters entered the forest for wood and grass. I will dig clams. Van Han carried a basket and army knife. I will go too. So Fong followed, unwilling to leave her alone. Crack! The girl skillfully pried a clam from rock, rinsed it, and placed it into the basket. Crack! So Fong pried one, split it, and ate the fresh meat directly. Delicious, so fresh. He praised. Really, not fishy? Van Han wrinkled her nose. So Fong smiled, not at all, very sweet, would you like to try? No, eating raw clams is not good. He clicked his tongue, the girl was not as tough, raw food was unwise. You too, eat less. Van Han reminded. I know. So Fong replied, yet still swallowed another clam, tastier than dried ones. But he dared not eat many, clams are known as fuel for men, so better in moderation. Crack! On the shore, No Tin Noyet and Tay Vai Din gathered seaweed, washed and placed it into the basket to dry. This may last a month. No Tin Noyet shook the basket half full. Yes. Te Vai Din nodded. But drying shrinks them, so let us collect more, plenty is not wasted. She continued picking. So much mud here. She stepped into soft ground near the stream mouth. Te Vai Din stretched her hand. Give me your hand. Quick, pull me out, this is gross. No Tin Noyet reached, hating the sticky mud. Te Vai Din pulled her up. She ran to the sea to wash. Then Te Vai Din noticed holes in the mud, sometimes bubbling. She pressed one hole, another spouted water. Vai Din, what are you doing? No Tin Noyet frowned. Something is under here. Te Vai Din answered, pulling up a small thumb-sized creature. What is it? No Tin Noyet asked. Ah, it is a clam. Her eyes lit. There are clams here, dig more, perhaps many. She urged happily, loving the taste. Clam is just its common name. Scientifically it is a bivalve mollusk, often living near estuaries where fresh water enters the sea. It is nourishing after childbirth, good for thirst, swelling, or drunkenness, but those with cold constitution or diarrhea should eat less. Chapter 807, Fast, Precise, Ruthless. Just ask directly. Su Feng turned his head and shouted, You, what are you doing there? Come quickly, there are clams here. You raised both hands and called out. Clams? Han's beautiful eyes sparkled. She glanced at Su Feng. He gently said, Let's go check it out. They left the rocky ground and walked to you. Here, this one is quite big. You washed a clam and placed it in the girl's hand. Han said happily, Looks like we can change taste tonight. Su Feng frowned and murmured, Seems there are many more. He had never tasted clams, but the system knowledge told him they were delicious. Digging clams is for you, I will just clean them. You smiled sweetly, for her to dig was 3 words, not possible. Su Feng rolled up sleeves and pants, stepped into the mud without hesitation, opened a hole and quickly found a clam inside. So fast. Han was amazed, she had not even started when he already got one. The girl unwillingly started digging into a small hole. Why can't I feel anything? Han whispered. Dig deeper. Su Feng reminded. All right. Han replied, dug a bit more and soon found a clam. She pulled her hand out, mud clinging, and tossed the clam onto the sand. Not small at all. You picked it up, washed it, the clam was big. Here. Su Feng tossed 7 or 8 more clams onto the sand. Su Feng, how are you so fast? Han was surprised, she had only dug one. 3 words, fast, precise, ruthless. Su Feng smiled, using fingers like a drill, poked and soon pulled out a clam. That's simple. He tossed it to you. Let me try. Han copied him, but with small strength she managed only a bit, then twisted wrist and got 1 clam. Much easier indeed. Han said innocently, and continued digging. To feed 8 people, they needed 3 or 4 pounds. Su Feng, what are you doing? From afar, Wai Meng called. He turned, seeing Lu's sisters and Nan's sisters carrying wood. Digging clams. Han waved. Ah, clams? Wai Meng brightened, dropped wood, and ran. What are clams? Nan, you curious. You do not know clams? Wai Meng surprised. I don't, maybe seen but not known name. Nan Yu answered. Here, they taste good. You gave a clam to her. Nan Yu eyes lit, so this is clam, first time I see. Wai Meng asked, you never ate? Truly first time. Nanching smiled bitterly, living in mountains needed city to eat seafood. Look, you became little muddy cat. Su Feng laughed. No matter, later wash is fine. Han kept digging, night was near. Let me help. Wai Meng rolled pants, stepped into mud, asked, how to dig? Find holes, dig down. Han guided. Sounds simple. Wai Meng excited. Lu Wai Thursday also joined. You wash clams. Nanqing said. Okay. You obediently picked clams to wash. They were busy, the sun set, sky darkened. My back hurts. Wai Meng stood, body muddy. All right. They left mud, but sand stuck to them. Cannot stand, I must bathe. Wai Meng shook legs, gave clams to you, and ran to sea. Wait me, let's bathe together. Han chased. Su Feng shook head smiling, lit fire with wood and stone, waiting for girls to finish bathing. Fire soon burned, shining over the sand. Heavy. You carried an iron pot full of clams. Still many. Su Feng murmured. Enough for us, but must boil first. You smiled. The clams were fresh, had no time to spit sand, so only boiling then picking sand out was possible. Chapter 808, Eat Every Day. Clack clack. The iron pot boiled. When the clams opened, she poured them into cold water. Hoo hoo. She pulled out the flesh, scraped away the sand, rinsed it clean. So troublesome. Standing nearby, Su Feng sighed, the process took much time. No other way, we have no wine nor time to let them spit sand, unless you want to wait 2 days. No Tin Noyet shrugged, nimble fingers handling raw meat. Bought clams must spit sand before cooking, then they will not be gritty. Or pour wine into water, clams spit faster. All right. So Fong smiled bitterly, this dish still required waiting. So refreshing. Van Han came after bathing, walking on soft sand. Come help, or even in an hour we may not eat. No Tin Noyet called. She opened a clam and asked, how to do? Simple, feel with your finger, find sand then scrape. No Tin Noyet guided by hand. Freshly caught clams had much sand. So troublesome. Lu Wai Mong pouted. Stop whining, want to eat then work. Lu Wai Thursday glared. Lu Wai Mong laughed, spat sand, spat her hands. You all keep working, I will cook other seafood. Van Han said, earlier Lu Wai Mong caught some crabs, plus snails and oysters, otherwise clams alone not enough. Okay. The Nan sisters sat and helped. So Fong, go wash first, later colder. Van Han urged gently. All right. He looked at muddy legs, uncomfortable. He took a towel, walked to the sea, stripped his shirt, washed his legs, removed pants, entered water. Looking up at the night sky, he sighed, so quiet. Only waves and girls' laughter remained. So Fong, you forgot soap. Van Han came. He chuckled, teased, so dark, can you even see? Seems not. Van Han stuck out tongue, blushing. She placed soap on a rock, said, leave it here, later take it. Got it. He rose, went ashore. Cough cough, wear underwear. He laughed. You wash quick, I check seafood. Van Han smiled, ran to fire. Over 10 minutes later, So Fong returned dressed. Not ready yet, he asked. Soon. Lu Wai Mong replied, 2/3 clams done. Good. He rubbed belly, already hungry. Okay. He nodded. Here. Van Han lifted lid, handed him a crab. Crack. He broke claw, ate meat. Fresh, no need salt. He fed meat to the girl. Van Han nodded, tasty without spice. Want more? He asked fondly. You eat, I am not hungry. She waved, went to help. Nearly 10 minutes later, all clams cleaned. Van Han, can you cook clams? No Tin Noyet rolled sleeves, she knew the dish. Then leave to you, little chef. She smiled. All right. Van Han added oil, fried ginger, then clams. Boom. Aroma spread, mouths watered. Wait, soon done. She smiled, adding seasoning, stirred, plated. Cannot wait. Lu Wai Mong grabbed chopsticks. Mmm. Her eyes shone, hands shook, she said, delicious. So our work was not wasted. Van Han breathed, relieved. Here, chopsticks. Nan Nu Nok handed them out. After so long, hope worth it. Nan Ton Nok said, tasted. How is it? No Tin Noyet asked. Tasty. Nan Ton Nok raised thumb. Want to eat daily, must dig daily. So Fong laughed. Better eat less. Lu Wai Mong chuckled, tasty but too tiring each day. Chapter 809, Love Clapping. Hick. Lu Wai Mong lay on the sand after eating, with dry grass and leaves under her body to avoid sand sticking. Want to play something? Nan Nu Nok shook the seawater off her hands, she had just washed the dishes. Play what? Lu Wai Mong became alert, since sleeping now was too early. Her eyes lit up, she nodded, you act, I guess, good. It is 2 people per team, one acts and the other guesses, whoever guesses more wins. Nan Nu Nok explained carefully. Not allowed to speak? Van Han blinked long lashes, showing interest. No, speaking makes it easy. Nan Nu Nok shook her head. Then I team with So Fong. Van Han pulled his hand. I stay with my sister. Lu Wai Mong said innocently. Can we change? Lu Wai Thursday asked seriously. Lu Wai Mong froze, complaining, Sister, you hurt my heart. She pouted, rubbing her cheek, I will not, I am smart. From past games, your confidence needs fixing. Lu Wai Thursday said sincerely. Lu Wai Mong curled her lips, not knowing how to answer. Hee, this game tests harmony and understanding. Nan Nu Nok said cheerfully, so the closer, the better. Lu Wai Thursday looked at her sister, pretending. If not for Van Han, I would team with So Fong. Lu Wai Mong whispered. No, nothing. She shook her head, eyes drifting. So Fong smirked, he heard clearly though others did not, surprised by her thoughts. So it is decided, Van Han and So Fong, Mong and Thursday, me with my sister, Tin Noyet and Vi Din. Nan Nu Nok arranged. Fine. No Tin Noyet pulled Tay Vi Din's hand, she was closest to her. Shall we start? Nan Nu Nok asked. All nodded together, yes, start. We will show first, then who gives the word? She smiled. Lu Wai Mong quickly, me. Okay. Nan Ton Nok smiled, stepping back. Mong, give the word. Nan Nu Nok whispered. All right, the first is. Lu Wai Mong whispered in her ear. Got it. Her face flushed red, nodding. She turned to her sister, held up 2 fingers. 2 words? Nan Ton Nok asked. She nodded quickly, then blushed and patted her own but, signaling. Nan Ton Nok twitched, glanced at Mong, strange thought in mind. She pursed lips, Papa? Put. So Fong spat his tea, love clapping? Nan Nu Nok reddened, shaking head anxiously. She repeated the motion. But? Nan Ton Nok bit her lip, watching. Her sister's eyes shone, nodding yet shaking, pointing at Mong, so not. Nan Ton Nok frowned, then her eyes lit, buttock, right? Ah, correct. Nan Nu Nok jumped up. Indeed, cannot be too simple. Nan Ton Nok sighed. Hee, my turn with sister. Lu Wai Mong said eagerly. I give the word. No Tin Noyet raised her hand. All right, I will guess. Lu Wai Mong nodded. Okay. Thursday stepped back. It is. No Tin Noyet whispered in her ear. Sister Tin Noyet, naughty. Lu Wai Thursday blushed. Hee, learned from your sister. She laughed. How many words? Mong asked. Cough. Thursday coughed, holding up 4 fingers. She clapped hands shyly. Clap? Mong puzzled, not right, only 2 words. Thursday pursed lips, kept clapping. Not right, maybe perverted. Mong frowned, clap, 4 words. Guessed? No Tin Noyet smiled. It is love clapping, right? Mong said proudly. Yes. Thursday whispered, she had nearly given up. Really? No Tin Noyet surprised, since when was she smart? Right? Mong asked. No Tin Noyet gave thumbs up, smart, it is love clapping. So Fong twitched his mouth, this actress gave such word? He, smart? Mong asked. Smart, I must see anew. Thursday sighed, such word only her sister understood. Chapter 8:10, Want to do something? Tai Din pursed her lips, tilted her head at So Fong, then pointed at him, and then at the sky. So Fong? Above? The sky? No Tin Noyet was confused, then saw Tai Din point at herself and then at the ground. She did not understand, so she asked, Vi Din? The ground? Tai Din shook her head, repeating the gesture. So Fong in the sky? Tai Din on the ground? Her eyes lit up and she exclaimed, still So Fong above, Vi Din below? Tai Din turned her face, hesitated, and nodded, but the answer was not standard. The character is not correct, but why do I feel it? Is this restricted? No Tin Noyet glanced at So Fong with grievance. She bit her lips in anger, So Fong above, Vi Din below, is this a posture? You guess. So Fong smiled. So Fong, did you make this question indecent? Lu Waimong teased. Not at all. So Fong replied calmly. Lu Waimong narrowed her eyes suspiciously, I do not believe it. So Fong smiled helplessly, shrugged, showing it was not his fault, the puzzle was not restricted, only the girls misunderstood. Not a posture? But why does it look like one? No Tin Noyet muttered. Tai Din still shook her head, her face slightly red. What is it then? No Tin Noyet messed her golden hair, confused, others guessed it, she did not want an accident. So Fong above, Vi Din below, how does it not sound like a posture? Man above woman below, right? She muttered. Sister Tin Noyet, do you want to give up? Van Han laughed. Yes, we cannot guess, stop struggling. Lu Waimong agreed. Let me think more. No Tin Noyet insisted. So Fong pressed his lips, the answer almost out, but he stayed silent. Any other clue? No Tin Noyet asked Tai Din. She repeated the gesture, still pointing at So Fong, the sky, herself, the ground. No Tin Noyet's mouth twitched, she sighed, I cannot guess. Yes, give up. She glared at Lu Waimong, then asked So Fong, what is the answer? Man above woman below. So Fong smiled. Man above woman below? I thought of it earlier, why did I not say it? No Tin Noyet exclaimed, frustrated. So that is why Vi Din pointed at So Fong, to mean man. Van Han realized. Man above woman below, is this not a posture? Books. Lu Waimong pulled his sleeve suspiciously. No, do not think nonsense. So Fong said seriously. Lu Waimong replied innocently, I do not believe you. AI, still lost. No Tin Noyet complained. It is still early, let us play again. Lu Waimong laughed. Yes, this time I must win. No Tin Noyet shouted excitedly. Nantan Nok asked, So Fong, join? Go. So Fong replied. They still divided groups, one gesturing, one guessing. Time passed, after more than 1 hour, the game ended, No Tin Noyet finally guessed once right thanks to Nan Nu Nok. This round everyone guessed the answers, so all were happy. Splash. The waves washed the shore and reefs, the sea dark. It is late, rest early, tomorrow we can watch the sunrise. So Fong urged gently. So Fong, not asleep yet? Van Han asked softly. You sleep first, I will come. So Fong replied warmly. Yes. Van Han answered. Crack. So Fong broke a branch and threw it into the fire, the flames blazed. Ah ah. After finishing, he yawned, stretched, then walked to the girl and slipped into the sleeping bag. The girl turned and hugged him tightly like an octopus. Cannot sleep? So Fong asked gently. Van Han rubbed her face on his chest, found a comfortable position, and murmured, not that fast to sleep. Then do you want to do something? So Fong smiled. What? Van Han was puzzled. So Fong acted directly, lifted her body, their eyes met, then he kissed her. No. Splash. Midnight tide receded, leaving shells and seaweed on the sand. Ah ah. So Fong opened his eyes, his body clock woke him. In his mind came the order, mark. A simulated screen appeared, showing day 22 glowing. No. Sleep more. Van Han half opened her eyes and murmured. Okay, not going out today? So Fong asked warmly. He smiled, looked at the Nan sisters sleeping, decided not to wake them. Sunrise was not the first time. He leaned back, looked at the horizon, the sun rose, light dispelled darkness, warmth spread. So beautiful. So Fong sighed, the first rays shone on his face. Chapter 8:11, Clearing the Way Home. Van Han got out of bed, raising her hand to block the sunlight shining on her face. Didn't So Fong wake me up? She sat up, not seeing him nearby, glanced around, and finally spotted him at the shore. So Fong was swimming in the water, playing without a care. Splash splash. Van Han crawled out of the sleeping bag, rolled it up neatly, then walked toward the sea. Why didn't you wake me? She complained as she approached. So Fong lifted his head from the water, wiped his face, and said with a wry smile, I did call you, but you said you wanted to sleep. Ah? Really? Van Han blushed shyly. Of course. So Fong climbed onto the shore. Honestly, if you want to cover your eyes, do it properly. He laughed helplessly, pulling her hand down, the gap was even wider than closed eyes. Hee, I know you are wearing pants. Van Han said innocently, the drone above still recording, how could he come ashore without pants? You little trickster. So Fong wanted to ruffle her hair but saw his hand dripping wet and pulled it back. If you want to touch, just touch. Van Han guided his hand to her head. Good girl. So Fong chuckled, gently rubbing her hair. Go dig oysters, or the fuel will run out quickly. He said softly. Van Han nodded, then I will prepare breakfast. Go on. So Fong walked shirtless toward the reef. Yesterday they dug oysters to dry, but for fuel they needed fresh ones. Half an hour later, the girls woke up, packed their sleeping bags, washed, and busied themselves. The Nan sisters gathered seaweed, the Lu sisters processed sea salt and fuel, working smoothly. No Tin Noyet and Tay Vai Din dug oysters and picked sea snails. So Fong dived for seafood, as fishing at Diaoyu Island was hopeless. So Fong still not back? Van Han asked loudly. No, just went down a while ago. No Tin Noyet replied quickly. So worrying. Van Han sighed, lifted the iron pot from the fire, and headed for the shore. She picked up a cloth shirt, shaking off the sand. Splash splash. Soon, So Fong surfaced, short wet hair clinging to his forehead, relieved expression. Come up, breakfast is ready. Van Han urged warmly. Okay. So Fong came ashore, set down the full sack, and took the towel she handed to dry himself. When do we return? No Tin Noyet asked. How much salt? So Fong asked back. 2 bamboo tubes, not much yet. Lu Waimong answered. So Fong nodded, then keep working, it's still early, once we have enough, we go back. I wonder how the camp is now. Van Han ate oyster meat, speaking as she chewed, will the Zhao brothers come? Who knows, maybe not, unless their meat is gone. So Fong shrugged. I doubt it, unless they watch us daily, otherwise how would they know we left? Nan Nu Nok analyzed softly. Why think too much, tonight we'll know, maybe even see bodies hanging. Lu Waimong said casually. That's true. Everyone smiled, the traps might catch intruders. Time passed, 2 hours later they finished and prepared to leave. Let's go, or it will be too late to reach camp. So Fong urged gently, carrying a bamboo basket of yams and dried seaweed. Let's go, I can't wait to see the camp. Lu Waimong said, carrying oysters and seaweed rolls. So Fong smiled, holding Van Han's hand, everyone looked forward. Books. They left the beach, following the stream upstream. The sun was harsh, no spring left, soon everyone was sweaty and tanned. Forgot wide hats, miscalculated. Lu Waimong fanned herself, hair wet against her forehead. True. No Tin Noyet covered her head with leaves, fearing to be sunburned. I can't walk anymore. No Tin Noyet raised her hand, though carrying only 2 sleeping bags, her stamina was weak. Fine, rest here. So Fong stopped under a big tree by the stream. Here, drink water. Nan Tan Nok handed her a bamboo tube. Thank you. She drank several gulps, then nudged Tai Vai Din, your turn. Gulp gulp. Soon the water was gone, their spirits lifted. Splash. So Fong washed his face in the stream. Ah, there are little shrimps and crabs. Lu Waimong exclaimed. Yes, but too small, not even a bite. Van Han reached into the water, quickly finding them too. Chapter 8:12, The Oldest Goes First. It is coming, finally coming. By the small stream, Lu Yimeng leaned on a wooden stick, her body moving forward, and in her last sight appeared the wooden house. Has the trap been triggered? Yun Han tried hard to see the wooden house clearly, but no matter how, it was too far to see. We will know once we return. So Wo Fong whispered, from this angle there was no sign of the trap being set, everything was calm. The group quickened their pace, soon they reached the wooden house, and nothing seemed different. Creak. So Wo Fong gently pushed the gate, the scene inside the courtyard appeared before their eyes. This is really disappointing. Wu Tingyue sighed, looking around, all the traps were intact, hidden perfectly. What a pity. Yun Han also sighed. He turned and reminded, be careful when entering, do not step on the traps. Okay. Yun Han obeyed, stepping on the path Fong had taken, safely returning to the yard. But walking like this every day will be troublesome. She looked back at the gate, worried. Once familiar, it will be fine, prevention before danger. If we destroy the traps, setting them again will be troublesome. So Ho Fong shrugged helplessly. This is fine, just pay a little attention. Nan Ruyu said softly. Yes, I also think no need to destroy them, we go out often, if destroyed and set again, it will be annoying. Lu Yimeng waved innocently. Fine, let us keep it this way. Yun Han nodded, everyone seemed reasonable. Guarding the house? Where is the dog Ju? Nan Xingyu blinked her big eyes. It can clearly guard the house, but now it is nowhere to be seen. Lu Yimeng looked up at the roof but saw no figure. Perhaps this time there is no fish or meat for it. So Ha Fong said carelessly. Really realistic. Wu Tingyue covered her mouth, laughing softly. Then let Fong catch a tiger or leopard to guard the house. Wu Tingyue teased with a laugh. So Wu Fong nodded thoughtfully, not a bad idea. Wu Tingyue froze, then quickly waved, no way, I was joking, do not take it seriously. I know, do not worry. So Wu Fong could not help but laugh, nowadays tigers and leopards are not as easy to find as stray cats. Absolutely do not mess around. Yun Han glared at Fong, quickly reminding. I know, hurry and prepare dinner, I am starving. Fong laughed, pinching the girl's nose. Alright, right away. Yun Han smiled sweetly, hugging the salt she just obtained upstairs. I will help you. Lu Yiming happily followed, as cooking was her lasting interest. Teach me martial arts? Tai Whiting stood before Fong, staring intently. Fong smirked. Tomorrow, today everyone is tired, have a good rest. Okay. Tai Whiting nodded, carrying her sleeping bag upstairs. Truly a martial fanatic. Fong muttered. We can eat now. Yun Han carried the iron pot to the wooden table and sat down. On the table were 2 iron pots and 3 ceramic plates, truly abundant. 1 pot of seafood soup, 1 pot of St. George mushroom stew, a plate of wild vegetable salad, a plate of goat meat fried with black fungus, and a plate of wild greens fried with wolf meat. I will not be polite. Wu Tingyue grabbed chopsticks and ate big chunks of meat. She was very hungry. Hee hee, my skin is thick already. Lu Yimeng joked, also taking big bites of meat. Then I will not be polite either. Nan Ruyu could not resist. Who can when hungry and facing delicious food? Eat quickly. Fong said gently, then also started eating. The group ate fast, like a storm sweeping clouds. Only half an hour later they were full. Burp. Lu Yiming had no image, burping, then lifted her ceramic bowl, sipping hot tea to digest. Wu Tingyue covered her mouth, avoiding the camera. As a public figure she had to maintain her image. Ju, I will wash the dishes. Louis Zhu stood, cleaning up the bowls. The Nan sisters also got up to help. It became a habit. Great, last night we still did not play enough. Wu Tingyue's eyes lit up. So Hu Feng, shall we play? Yun Han tilted her head asking. Of course, having fun is most important. Feng smiled indulgently, sincerely saying, actually, you do not need my permission, each of you has your own will, being happy is what matters. We asked because Yun Han cares for you. Lu Yimeng glared at Feng, his lack of romance somehow endearing. Haha, I know. Feng laughed cheerfully, stroking the girl's face. Then we split teams like last night, wait for Sister Zhu and the others, then start. Yun Han blushed and said innocently. Okay. The others agreed. More than 10 minutes later, Louis Zhu and the Nan sisters returned from washing. Put the bowls down, the game starts. NK Books, Lu Yiming eagerly shouted. You guess, I team with you again. Lu Yiming hurriedly explained. Okay. Louis Zhu agreed, placing the cleaned bowls on the wooden rack. Who starts first? Yun Han asked sweetly. Arrange by age, the oldest first. Lu Yimeng smiled. Lu Yimeng, I want to kill you. Wu Tingyue pouted angrily, among them she and Tai Whiting were the oldest. Hee hee, you cannot hit me. Lu Yimeng playfully dodged. Chapter 813, Father and Son of the Truong Family. In a swamp in the south of Huin Noyet Island, 7 or 8 days away from So Fong's camp, 2 Truong men were struggling to survive. Damn, unlucky so early in the morning? A tall, skinny young man cursed after stepping into the mire. His name was Truong Chap, about 21 or 22, with long hair covering his eyes and ears, and uneven stubble around his mouth. Stay still, give me your hand. A middle-aged man in his 40s reached out. He was Truong Chap's father, Truong Tone. They were father and son, among the 6 contestants still holding on besides So Fong, Tran Chi Hai, and the True brothers. The swamp was their landing site, rich in resources, so they had not moved away. That was why they had lasted till now. Safety is most important, be more careful next time. Truong Tone warned. He sighed, saying, pity we lost tonight's dinner. No worry, there is plenty of food here, we will find meat. Truong Tone said lightly. Since arriving, though they could not eat meat every day, every 3 days they had a decent meal, the last one only a day ago. All right. Truong Chap shook off mud, then picked up his axe. The axe was their main tool, along with flint, an iron pot, 2 jackets, and sleeping bags. What do we do now? Truong Chap asked, gripping the axe. Check the traps. Truong Tone took the axe from his son, worried he might hurt himself. Truong Chap pressed his lips, letting his father hold it. He wanted to say he had grown up, but feared hurting his father's feelings, so kept quiet. Truong Tone frowned. What is it? Nothing, just missing Mom. Endure a few more months, win the prize and we can go home. Truong Tone sighed. I wonder how many opponents are left. Truong Chap murmured. I do not know, more than half a year and not a soul seen. Truong Tone pouted, each day waking only with his son, nothing else but trees and weeds. Dad, do you miss Mom? Truong Chap teased. Nonsense, who misses that woman? Truong Tone muttered, thinking of his big rough wife, his head ached. Nonsense, it was only a dream. He blushed in defense. Anyway, I do not miss your mom. He refused to admit he dreamed last night of being chased and beaten by her. Fine, then you do not miss her. Truong Chap laughed, saying, when we get back, be careful, Mom's rolling pin is still new. Brat, do you want me to beat you now? Truong Tone blared. I shut up. Truong Chap mimed zipping his mouth. No respect. Truong Tone snorted, leading his son to yesterday's trap. This swamp, apart from deep dangerous parts, they had explored almost all. Follow my steps, do not misplace. Got it, I memorized the path. Truong Chap sighed, he was a top student, memorizing safe routes was easy. Talk less, the older the wiser, understand? Truong Tone scolded. Dad, that phrase is used wrong. Truong Chap corrected. I say it right. He shouted, blushing. Fine, fine, I obey. Truong Chap yielded. Truong Tone nodded, they kept walking, still half an hour from the traps. Slap. A mosquito bit, he muttered angrily, annoying insect. Because you did not wear the jacket. Truong Tone lectured. No way, this hot weather, wearing a jacket is suffocating. Truong Chap pouted, scratching. All right, let it be, too annoying. You nag more than your mom. Truong Tone pouted. Dad, not afraid she beats you? Truong Chap teased. You must be itching, maybe I beat you too little. Truong Tone blared. He snorted, yet his eyes smiled, he was truly proud of his son, only keeping strict. Dad, do you think we can win? Truong Chap asked. Of course, stop saying weak things, I am waiting to use the prize money for a trip, buy you a wedding house and a wedding car. Truong Tone rambled. Stop, I do not even have a girlfriend, it is too early. Truong Chap cut in. Too early? At your age I was already running around. Truong Tone laughed scolding. Chapter 8:14, Spring Thoughts? For me, it makes no difference. Zheng Quan blared fiercely at his son. Getting married and having children now costs a fortune, good education also needs money to nurture. Zheng just stopped halfway, because his father's brows furrowed so tight they could crush a fly. Even when poor I still raised you, and you studied well, are you doubting my bloodline? Zheng Quan said coldly. All right, I will listen to you. Zhang Jia hurriedly calmed him down, otherwise he would be the one to suffer. Of course you must listen. Zheng Quan's face eased. Zhang Jia urged, hurry, if the trap caught something and we are late, it will be wasted. This had happened before, the trap sprung at night, and in the morning only fur and blood remained, unclear if the prey escaped or was eaten. Got it. Zheng Quan replied, quickening his pace. After more than 20 minutes, they reached the swamp's edge, where the ground was firm with dense trees. The swamp had water, so animals came to drink, and they place traps on the path animals must pass, a wide beast trail. Let's go see. Zhang Quan's eyes lit up, he strode ahead. Father, be careful. Zhang Zhe warned. NK Book. Stop nagging, keep up. Zhang Quan answered. Step, step, step. Soon, they arrived at yesterday's trap, a small snare, only for small animals. Seems luck is good today. Zhang Quan laughed, skillfully removing a hair. Zhang Zhe swallowed, excited, so fat, today we can eat well. Look at your greedy face. Zhang Quan laughed. Haha, reset the trap, maybe tonight we catch more. Zhang Zhe said shyly. You do it, know how? Zhang Quan asked. Zhang Zhe rolled sleeves, I will try. Go on. Zhang Quan stepped aside. Zhang Zhe untied the rope, reset the trigger, and bent the stick again. Improved. Zhang Quan nodded. Next, spread the rope across the path. Zhang Zhe murmured, then carefully set it. Done. He clapped his hands. Father, how is it? Very good, later come work with me on the farm. Zhang Quan laughed. Better not. Zhang Zhe grimaced, he preferred city life. Humph, farm work earns plenty too. Zhang Quan tapped his son's head. Let's dig some wild greens too. He was in good mood with the hare caught. Will we cook lunch? Zhang Zhe asked. No, save it for evening. Zhang Quan answered. Great. Zhang Zhe grinned, grabbed the hatchet and followed. Elsewhere, Sua Feng's group had just risen, washing at the stream. Lu Yiming squatted, yawning, face weary. So tired? Sua Feng asked with a smile. Only slept 6 hours, of course tired. Lu Yiming pouted. Last night they played guessing games and mahjong till after 2. Eat breakfast then rest, you will feel better. Sua Feng said kindly. Maybe after eating I will wake up. Lu Yiming waved, wet towel washing her face. Ha ha ha. Sua Feng shook head smiling, then walked back to the cabin. Wait for me. Lu Yiming rushed to finish, grabbed cup and toothbrush, and followed. Sua Feng turned, what is it? Going out today? Lu Yiming blinked. Sua Feng paused, frowned, why, you want out? Or you just want to slack off training? Sua Feng asked again. As expected. He smiled wryly. Truly, if you do not want training, you can skip. I do not dislike training, just think outside is fun. Lu Yiming waved nervously. That is still not wanting training. Sua Feng laughed. Maybe. Lu Yiming smiled awkwardly. Most important is joy. Sua Feng pinched her cheek, then went upstairs. Lu Yiming froze, he pinched her cheek, was that not Yun Han's privilege? Yiming, why stand there? Wu Tingyue's voice came. Nothing. Lu Yiming hurried upstairs. Spring thoughts? Wu Tingyue teased. No, you silly ghost. Lu Yiming blushed angrily. Wu Tingyue giggled, hee, maybe it is true. Lu Yiming pouted, opened the door. Louis Zhu came up, puzzled, what is with her? Maybe still sleepy. Wu Tingyue shrugged. Chapter 8:15, The Sego Poem. So Feng, what do you want to do today? Van Han gently asked, handing him a piece of stew. Didn't we bring back some big yams yesterday that we still haven't dealt with? So Feng casually replied. Right, I almost forgot. Van Han said innocently. Taevaidin pursed her lips and softly asked, no more training? Of course there is training, why not, but it is voluntary. So Feng answered warmly. Taevaidin glanced at the girls, thinking that if it was voluntary, who would continue? Don't worry, at night when free I will teach you myself. So Fong smiled. Her beautiful eyes lit up, then returned to normal. She asked seriously, "What are the conditions?" Teaching one person and teaching a group are not the same. There are no strange conditions. So Fong replied. Then take me as your disciple. Tai Vai Din said solemnly. Didn't we agree not to bring this up? So Fong's mouth twitched. Tai Vai Din just looked at him quietly. Well, I will take a disciple then, but if you only want to give payment, then owe me a favor. Later when I need, you will help, but it will not be beyond your ability. So Fong said. A favor, huh? No Tin Noyet whitened her eyes, thinking that Tai Vai Din's favor was not simple. Behind her stood a big force, but she kept silent. Tai Vai Din nodded without hesitation, yes. So Fong really got a bargain. No Tin Noyet muttered. Why do you say that? So Fong asked curiously. Don't listen to her nonsense. Tai Vai Din said calmly. No Tin Noyet pouted, mumbled something, then bit into her meat. So Fong pursed his lips, stopped thinking, and kept eating stew. Van Han glanced at So Fong, then at Tai Vai Din, then quietly ate. I will go out, maybe find the Zhao brothers, don't run around. So Fong held his horn bow and warned. I will go with you. Lu Waimong said quickly. Before So Fong answered, she already rushed upstairs. Soon she came down with her bow and arrows, smiling, let's go. Be careful, come back early. Van Han said. Got it. So Fong nodded, carefully avoided traps, and left. So Fong, where are we going now? Lu Waimong asked curiously. This way, circle around the camp and return. So Fong pointed. All right, I will follow you. Lu Waimong replied brightly. They entered the forest, a new path blocked by vines and weeds. Creak. So Fong swung his blade, clearing bushes. La 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 la. Lu Waimong bit a blade of grass, humming a tune. So happy? So Fong smiled. Am I? Lu Waimong raised her brows. So Fong chuckled, your face is almost writing the words happy. That is happiness. She said. I don't get it. So Fong sighed. She just smiled, thinking that who you go with is more important than where. At your command. Lu Waimong saluted playfully. So Fong laughed, quickened his pace, walking further. Seems like only weeds and bushes. Lu Waimong muttered. Her gaze shifted left, she said, strange, this is not near the sea, why are there coconut trees? So Fong stopped and asked, coconut trees? Where? There, taller than the others, but strange, not like real coconuts. She pointed. So Fong looked and indeed saw tall trees. These are not coconuts. His dark eyes lit up, smiling. Not? But they look like coconuts. She said surprised. The name has coconut, but they are not. She murmured. The sago palm, also called toamu or catco, belongs to the palm family, tall up to 20 meters, resembling coconut trees. When young, covered with thorns, but when mature, thorns fall, divided into thorny and thornless types. So not coconuts? She asked again. Yes, not. He confirmed. If not coconuts, then let's go. She said simply. Don't rush, though not coconuts, other parts can be eaten. He pulled her forward. Guess? He smiled mysteriously. Ha, you don't know either, but you must have eaten food made from it. He reminded. Eaten? She widened eyes, thinking. Let's go first. He laughed, pulling her hand toward the sago palms. She followed, still mumbling, sago palm. Soon. He cut a path to the sago palms, looking up at the tall trunk. So Fong, tell me, what can be made from this sago palm? She tugged his hand. Can't guess? He asked softly. I can't. She pouted, glaring at him. Chapter 8:16, Sago. Sago? Making sago soup? Lu Yiming asked softly. That is right, it is that very sago. Su Feng nodded. Lu Yiming reacted with surprise. Do not tell me that sago comes from the sago palm? Smart, correct answer. Su Feng clapped, sago indeed came from the sago palm. Truly surprising. Lu Yiming exclaimed. Inside the room, the viewers flooded the screen with comments. The ingredient for sago comes from such a tree? This is new knowledge. Watching Su Feng live, one can always learn so much, that is why I like it. If I had not seen this, I would never know that sago originates from a tree. We are all people, why is Su Feng so outstanding? Haze. Su Feng put down the deer horn bow, gripped the hatchet, cracked his wrist, and said, I will teach you this later, now let us handle the raw material first. Do you want me to help? Lu Yiming asked eagerly. Not needed now. Su Feng answered casually. He walked to the sago palm, raised the hatchet, and swung down at the trunk. Tack, tack, tack. With his great strength, each strike left a deep groove. Bang! After 7 or 8 blows, with a deep crash, the tall palm tree toppled, crushing many bushes and branches. Which part do we need, the leaves or the sap? Lu Yiming asked softly. Really want to use this tree? She patted the trunk. Taking the hatchet, she asked softly. Let me help, okay? No, you are not tall, I fear pressing you even lower. Su Feng teased. Who says I am short? I am at least 1.70 meters. Lu Yiming pouted angrily. For round up to 5, you know? She blushed, trying to argue bravely. Su Feng then bent down, hugged the trunk with both hands, and hoisted it onto his shoulder. Still manageable. He breathed deeply, the trunk was heavy with dense matter. Lu Yiming picked up the bough, tilted her head at him. So we go back now? Yes, let us return, carrying such a heavy trunk is not suitable for a long walk. Su Feng said gently. All right, I will lead the way. Lu Yiming strode ahead. The long trunk brushed against branches, slowing them down. After more than half an hour, she asked. Su Feng, do you want to rest? Are you tired? He asked back. I am not tired, this weight is not even a percent of yours. She shook her shoulders with the bows and quiver, less than 50 caddies. Really no rest? She frowned. No need, I am fine. Su Feng lifted his chin. Fine then. She pursed her lips and walked on. Time passed, nearly 2 hours later, the cabin appeared. Almost there, hold on a little more. Her eyes lit up, she ran calling. Sister, we are back. Could something have happened? Nan Ruyu asked. Nan Xingyu answered sharply. Do not talk nonsense, curry. Bang bang bang. Creak. The gate opened, Yun Han and Louis Zhu looked out curiously. Sister Meng, where is Su Feng? Yun Han searched. Right behind, coming soon. Lu Yiming pointed back. Step step step. Soon, Su Feng appeared, carrying a trunk on his shoulder. Bang. Huff. He dropped the trunk, breathed out, and rolled his shoulders. Yun Han sighed in relief, patted the trunk, and asked. Su Feng, what is this? Looks like a coconut tree. Nan Xingyu walked out. Yes, I thought so too, but the truth will surprise you. Lu Yiming chuckled. What is it? Nan Xingyu asked curiously. Do not drag it out. Louis Zhu scolded. Hee, this is the material for sago, the soup we often eat. Lu Yiming explained. Ah. The girls were shocked, sago is made from a tree? Is that true? Wu Tingyue came closer, she liked sago soup, especially with fruit. Of course true. Su Feng smiled. Knowledge gained. Wu Tingyue praised, patting the firm trunk. Su Feng, what is this tree? Louis Zhu asked softly. Sago palm. He replied. Sago palm. She frowned, memorizing the name, planning to learn more in the city. Let us go inside, do not stand outside. Yun Han called gently. All right, make room, I will carry it in. Su Feng breathed deep, lifted the trunk again. Yes. He replied low, stepping steadily. So strong. Nan Ruyu whispered, first time seeing his strength clearly. This tree must weigh 10 times my body. Nan Qingyu said in awe. How heavy are you? Wu Tingyue asked curiously. Around 90, not over 100 caddies. Nan Qingyu answered softly. Chapter 817, The Physical Issue. Sister Noyet, you still look so young. Nan Tan Nok spoke as she entered, closing the big door behind her. Bang! So Fong placed the sago palm trunk across the yard, clapped his hands, and sat down. Yes, but what should we do? Van Han's beautiful face was full of curiosity. It is simple, this tree is full of starch, just dig it out and soak in water, then remove impurities, finally let it settle and dry, then you will get sago. So Fong explained clearly. So simple? Lu Aimong was stunned, then asked, but I ate sago, it was in small balls, how to make that? So that is how it works, I see now. Lu Aimong smiled awkwardly. Then you rest, leave the rest to us. Van Han rolled up her sleeves and spoke cheerfully. Do you not need me to peel the bark? So Fong frowned. She pulled a chopping axe from Lu Aimong's bamboo basket, ready to cut open the bark. Van Han, let me do it, I am stronger. Lu Aimong quickly said. Crack crack. Lu Aimong rubbed her hands, gripped the axe, and struck the trunk. Oh, that looks scary. Lu Wai Thursday jumped back in fright. Ha, still very hard. Lu Aimong frowned, pulling the axe out. Are you sure I should not do it? So Fong raised an eyebrow, afraid she might lose control. No need, trust me. Lu Aimong said with confidence, striking again near the first cut. She pursed her lips and muttered, ha, still stubborn. Better let So Fong do it. Lu Wai Thursday advised. No need. Lu Aimong answered firmly, striking once more. Tack tack tack. Everyone stepped back, worried about safety. Sister Mong, let So Fong do it, your speed is too slow. Van Han came down from upstairs, seeing how only a small crack appeared after so long, it was impossible to finish before nightfall. Fine. Lu Aimong pursed her lips and stopped. Everyone breathed in relief, at least she had tried. So Fong stood up, smiling, took the axe, pressed his foot on the trunk, and easily chopped open the bark, revealing the white parts inside. Yet strangely, though these trees stored hundreds of kilos of starch, after blooming near coconut valleys, the starch vanished quickly and the tree withered, leaving only an empty trunk. After half an hour, So Fong had fully split the trunk. All white. Van Han pressed on the split trunk, finding the starch solid, needing tools to dig it out. She used a spade to dig starch, dropping it into water jars. Amazing, the trunk is full of starch. Lu Wai Thursday exclaimed. Nan Tan Nok nodded in agreement, yes, nature is wonderful. Not entirely, there are many impurities in coarse fibers. So Fong replied softly. But from this amount, maybe we can get about 100 gene of sago? Lu Wai Thursday said. Yes, about 100 gene. So Fong nodded, otherwise all his effort would be wasted. Lu Wai Thursday started pouring more water into the jar, following So Fong's instructions. Splash! Water filled the jar until halfway, letting the starch soak. Meanwhile, the Nan sisters, Ti Vai Din, No Tin Noyet, and Lu Wai Mong were busy digging starch. Time passed, they moved to the second cauldron, already half full. Lu Wai Thursday stirred the first jar with a wooden stick, sometimes lifting a handful to rub, fibers falling away while starch melted into the water. Feels like washing sauce, she muttered. Enough, let's continue tomorrow. Van Han shook her wrist, tired after only finishing 2/3 of the trunk, as the sky turned dark. Tomorrow then, no rush. So Fong carried another cauldron. That is the only way. Van Han nodded. Everyone stopped, exhausted. If we continue, my hands will become pig hooves. No Tin Noyet spread her fingers, sore and blistered. They will. Lu Wai Mong teased. Yours are already like pig hooves. No Tin Noyet grabbed her hand and laughed. Lu Wai Mong innocently said, I am fine. Honestly, I envy So Fong's hands, they look even better than ours. No Tin Noyet sighed. Yes, why do his hands not have calluses? Nan Ton Nok also wondered. NK Books. Confess, have you been secretly caring for them? No Tin Noyet asked suspiciously. In truth, his hands used to be rough. Even after arriving on the island, he had calluses, but later they strangely became normal again. Even if I cared secretly, the drone camera would not miss it. So Fong said bitterly. Could it be a physical issue? No Tin Noyet still doubted. Chapter 818, Spicy Hot Pot. Let it soak overnight, we will handle it later. So Fong replied casually. Alright, I will prepare dinner. Van Han looked at the sky, the sun had set in the west, and soon it would be dark. She carefully avoided the trap stair, turned and went upstairs. I will help. Nan Nu Nok followed behind. Looks like we cannot eat sago tonight. Lu Wai Mong leaned by the water vat, stirring with her hand. We can eat it tonight. So Fong laughed. Good. Lu Wai Mong smiled. Everyone went upstairs to rest, waiting quietly for dinner. Time passed slowly, darkness covered, and from the wooden house came a tempting smell. Have you all washed your hands? Van Han placed the iron pot on the wooden table, glancing at everyone. Cough cough, I will wash. So Fong stood up with water. I will wash. Nan Nu Nok said. I did not wash. Lu Wai Mong grinned, standing up. He, I am clean. No Tin Noyet raised her hand. Really, you all ignore hygiene, disease comes from the mouth, if the hands are dirty then. Van Han scolded. Alright, washed clean. So Fong dried his hands and sat. Here. Van Han handed chopsticks with a slight complaint. I washed too, let me show you. Lu Wai Mong stretched her hand before her. Van Han laughed, scolding, enough, sit down Mong. He. Lu Wai Mong giggled, taking chopsticks. Everyone sit down. Van Han called, handing chopsticks to the group. Crunch crunch. Lu Wai Mong chewed an oyster, staring at other dishes. I really want spicy hot pot. No Tin Noyet suddenly said. Why, today's food not good? So Fong asked kindly. Talking about hot pot makes me drool. Lu Wai Mong said. So Fong, you never ate spicy hot pot? Lu Wai Thursday asked. Don't worry, back in the city, I will take you to Hua City, 3 meals a day of hot pot. No Tin Noyet waved grandly. Eat less, you need to keep your image. Tay Vi Din reminded. Yes, too much spicy causes pimples. No Tin Noyet laughed, she seldom ate hot pot because her elder sister was strict. I can only eat a little spicy, too much I cannot. Van Han admitted. If we had chili and peppercorn, making hot pot here would be easy. So Fong said. Peppercorn may exist, but chili probably not? Lu Wai Mong muttered. So Fong smiled, not sure, maybe wild chili exists. Wild chili, on this island? Lu Wai Thursday doubted. After many years, if birds carried chili seeds here, dropping waste, it could grow. So Fong explained. So coincidental, what bird can fly that far? Lu Waimong wondered. It will exist. So Fong smiled, he had the ring of luck. Lu Wai Thursday corrected, when destiny gives, it comes, when not, do not force. Right, that is the meaning. Lu Waimong stuck her tongue. She laughed, at least I know that much. Yes, even delicious food cannot stop your mouth. Lu Wai Thursday stuffed an oyster into her sister's mouth. Lu Waimong's mouth full, words muffled. Ha, everyone laughed, daily moments like this were joyful. After half an hour, they finished and went downstairs. Looks like it is dissolving. Van Han took starch, rubbed it, in water only coarse fiber left. Yes, remove the fiber, let settle, and it is done. So Fong also tried. How to remove, by hand. Lu Waimong looked at vats of starch. Of course not, we still have bamboo nets for paper making. So Fong answered. Yes, I will fetch them. Lu Waimong took a torch to the storehouse. Soon she returned with bamboo nets, dusty. Few she blew off dust, then washed with spring water. All right. The girls replied. Vai Din, no need to work, I promised to teach you martial arts. So Fong called. Te Vai Din dropped the net, stepped before him. Any moves you never used? So Fong asked. Yes. Te Vai Din nodded. Good, continue, I will correct all your basics. So Fong controlled the drone to film, waved her over. Te Vai Din inhaled deeply, calmed, then struck. So Fong caught lightly, correcting, this punch lacked power, it should use. Chapter 819, The Old Scientist. By the small stream in the yard, Van Han and the sisters of the Lu family were picking impurities from a water jar. On the other side, No Tin Noyet and the sisters of the Nan family were working on another pot. Hoo. Te Vai Din stopped to pant, her forehead covered in sweat, clearly exhausted. Te Vai Din nodded and leaned back on the chair. So Fong went upstairs, brought her a towel, and said gently, wipe your sweat. Are you not done yet? So Fong turned to the girl nearby. Not yet, but soon, though we did not scoop anything out. Van Han replied innocently, shaking the bamboo net so wooden scraps fell to the ground. Hard work. So Fong said softly. Not tiring. Van Han smiled. Cough. Lu Waimong suddenly coughed twice. So Fong could not help but laugh, you all worked hard. Lu Wai Thursday glanced at her sister, her little thoughts too obvious. Tomorrow we can eat sago. No Tin Noyet pursed her lips, recalling something, and asked brightly, by the way, do we still have fresh fruit? Well, I have never eaten olives from Tammy Lo. No Tin Noyet said with a curl of her lips. If you want other fruit, maybe green apples remain, but we must go pick them. Van Han replied. Forget it, olives from Tammy Lo should be fine, we can try tomorrow. No Tin Noyet waved her hand, picking apples was too far. Grapes are still raw, otherwise we could try them. Van Han tilted her head toward the thorny hedge near the garden. Indeed, grapes had borne fruit, small as corn kernels, but already formed, with amazing speed. This was thanks to So Fong, who had twice poured nutrient solution for the vines. At this rate, grapes will ripen soon. Lu Wai Thursday whispered. About 1 month. So Fong replied gently. Perhaps so. No Tin Noyet curled her lips, thinking if not suppressed by higher-ups, those researchers might have appeared here. So when we leave, should we dig all the soil? Van Han asked innocently. That would need excavators and boats. So Fong laughed, patting her head. This place will likely become an ecological base. Lu Wai Thursday said softly. Perhaps, but once they find the soil is ordinary, they will lose interest. So Fong muttered. What? Van Han asked curiously. Nothing, continue your work. So Fong changed the subject and returned to Tai Vai Din. He asked softly, continue? Yes. Tai Vai Din put down the towel and stood up. The two resumed training in the yard, time passing in sweat, nearly 1 hour gone. Good, now we just let it settle. Van Han pulled the bamboo net from the jar. Looking forward, the first time making sago. No Tin Noyet cheered like a child. Alright, stop here today. So Fong helped Tai Vai Din stand firmly. Tai Vai Din breathed heavily, clothes soaked, and answered hoarsely, alright. Rest and take a bath, remember to add pine leaves. So Fong instructed. Tai Vai Din nodded, then lay on the chair, chest rising and falling. Hard work. No Tin Noyet took a towel to wipe her sweat. Tai Vai Din shook her head lightly, silent, this was her own request. When you return, you will surely shock your old master. No Tin Noyet said firmly. The night passed peacefully. Early the next morning, sunlight shone on Huin Noyet Island, bringing warmth. Ah. The girl woke up early as usual, lay 5 minutes, then went downstairs. It should be settled now. Van Han murmured, hurrying to the pot by the stream. She checked, the water that was white was now clear, with a gray residue left. Looks successful. Van Han sighed, ran upstairs, soon brought down a small basin. Splash splash. The girl scooped water into the basin, one after another, until little remained, then changed to a ceramic bowl, scooping the last drops. She did the same with the other pot. After finishing, Van Han took a bamboo board, leaned over, and gently scraped the impurities, revealing white starch beneath. This is sago. She touched it, like common cornstarch. What are you doing? So Fong's voice startled her. Ah, you scared me to death. Van Han lifted her head, saw him, and scolded, you walk without sound. Sorry. So Fong apologized softly. It is fine, I will fetch the mat, wait and help me pour the sago out, I am too weak. Van Han said brightly. All right. So Fong agreed. The girl went upstairs, soon brought down the mat, wiped it with a wet towel. Van Han spread it on the cement floor, lined with banana leaves, and said softly, okay, turn it over. So Fong lifted the pot, poured the broken sago onto the mat, then poured the second pot. Van Han used a stick to break lumps, smiling happily, looks like a lot, drying maybe 60 or 70 kilos. Chapter 820, Division of Tasks. So Fong, what shall we do today? Lu Waimong asked as usual. We continue the patrol like yesterday. So Fong replied softly. All right, I will go with you. Lu Waimong said brightly. Lu Wai Thursday glanced at her sister and asked, Van Han, will you come? I cannot, sago is not finished, and the garden needs fertilizing today. Van Han counted her tasks on her fingers. Lu Wai Thursday pursed her lips, more fertilizing again? So Fong, let me go with you. No Tin Noyet raised her hand. Why, do you want to avoid the dung work? So Fong smiled knowingly. Yes. No Tin Noyet nodded. So direct. Nan Nu Nok smiled. The Nan sisters looked at each other, then shook their heads in sync. Go on then. Lu Wai Thursday sneered at her sister. Take care, the traps are dangerous. So Fong warned. We know, you also be careful, come back before dark. Van Han reminded. All right. So Fong smiled, setting down his chopsticks. I will prepare things. Lu Waimong quickly finished her stew, then took rope, bow, and axe. So eager. Lu Wai Thursday sighed. Take some salted meat, just in case. Van Han said. All right. Lu Waimong agreed. Also take salt and oil. Take olives to chew on the way. All right. And soap. All right. Eat your food, we will return soon. So Fong smiled, patting her head. Better safe than sorry. Van Han glared. You worry too much. So Fong pinched her cheek. Every time you leave, you bring back surprises. Van Han said seriously. Good, the basket is full. Lu Waimong exhaled. So Fong carried it. I am done eating too, let us go. No Tin Noi yet stood up. Let us go. So Fong waved. I will see you off. Van Han stood. No need, finish your meal. So Fong said gently. All right, but come back soon. Van Han urged. I know. So Fong left. Sister, I am leaving. Lu Waimong followed. Do not run around. Lu Wai Thursday warned. All right. Lu Waimong replied. The three left, the others stayed. Only fertilizing can make the vegetables grow fast. Van Han said, eating. After some minutes, she finished her meal. The others cleaned dishes and pans. They divided tasks, some cooked, others washed. Burp. Van Han blushed, covering her mouth. Later, they went to the yard. Van Han, what first? Nan Nu Nok asked. We weed, loosen soil, then fertilize. Van Han said with a smile. I will weed, I have experience. Nan Nu Nok said. All right, you do that. Van Han nodded, then told Lu Wai Thursday, you dig the soil. All right. Lu Wai Thursday agreed. Vi Din sister, you may keep training, we handle this. Van Han said. No, I will help. Tay Vi Din said sincerely. She nodded, knowing training with So Fong was faster, so helping was fine. Then, please help with dung work. Van Han said shyly. Tay Vi Din pursed lips, regretting. Leave it to us. Nan Tan Nok said firmly. Thank you. Van Han smiled, then went to fetch ashes. Again the dung work. Nan Tan Nok sighed, taking the tool. Who? She opened the cement lid, stench rushed out. Vi Din, move back. Nan Tan Nok said. Tay Vi Din frowned, stepping aside. Clang. The tool hit the edge with a dull sound. It sank, pressing down, clearly touching something. Hoo-hoo. Nan Tan Nok breathed hard, pulling the tool out, emptying into the water jar, then exhaled deeply.